Welcome back to the deep dive. So we put so much effort into planning for risk, you know, identifying threats, figuring out the impact, developing these brilliant responses. But then there's this crucial question that so many projects just seem to miss.
The did it actually work question?
Exactly. Once you've implemented your fix, how do you really know objectively that it worked?
And that's what we're digging into today, the formal process of actually assessing risk response effectiveness.
Right.
And for this deep dive, we're building on some key concepts from the book Project Management for Project Managers by Orlando Casabone. Because the biggest misconception is that risk management just, stops after you act.
It's not a one and done thing.
Not at all. Monitoring is essential for learning, for improving, and for making smart decisions as you go.
So our mission today is to nail down the one objective method that project managers absolutely must use to verify their actions are actually reducing threats. Okay, so let's unpack this. The simplest way, wouldn't it be just to ask the person who implemented the response, just, hey, was it a success?
It seems logical, right? And look, getting that feedback is always valuable.
Right.
But it fundamentally compromises objectivity. It just can't be your only source.
Because they have a natural bias.
Of course. They have a stake in confirming their efforts were successful. A systematic evaluation needs evidence. It needs structure.
Yeah, so structure is key.
Mm-hmm.
But that sounds like overhead.
Yeah.
What about using metrics we already track, like earned value analysis, EVA? It gives us cost and schedule performance. If we spent less after the response, isn't that proof?
That's a great question because it gets right to the heart of a very common mistake.
A mistake.
Yeah. EVA tells you what happened with your budget or schedule. It doesn't tell you why.
Ah, I see. It's showing the consequence, not the cause.
Exactly. Did you underspend because your response was brilliant, or was it because the risk just never really materialized the way you feared?
It can't distinguish between the two.
It can't. It measures the outcome, not the effectiveness of the strategy itself.
And I'm guessing that convening a quick brainstorming session to review things falls short for a similar reason.
Precisely. Brainstorming is fantastic for generating new ideas or identifying new risks.
But for evaluation,
It's the wrong tool for the job. It just lacks the rigor you need to draw real lessons you can apply later.
so this brings us to the main point. If informal chats aren't objective and tools like EVA don't work for this, what is the required tool, the one that gives us that rigor?
The definitive solution is conducting a risk audit.
A risk audit. Okay, that sounds serious.
It is, and it should be. It's a formal, structured review designed specifically to check two things. First, that the response was implemented as planned, and second, that it actually achieved its intended outcome.
So what makes it so powerful? Is it just a big formal checklist?
Not at all. The power of the audit is in its independence and its scope.
Independence, so not the project team.
Ideally, no. It examines all the documentation, it verifies resources were used properly, and critically, it assesses whether the risk management process itself is working. It helps you figure out, was the plan bad or was the execution of the plan bad? Those are two very different problems.
That is a huge distinction to be able to make. So the risk audit is the mechanism that turns subjective hope into verifiable knowledge.
That's it, exactly.
How you track the real impact, learn real lessons, and keep the whole project resilient because you've proven your actions have measurable results.
It moves risk management from just a theoretical exercise to a verified success strategy.
So the core takeaway for you listening is pretty clear. Evaluation demands structure. If you really need to verify success, you have to commit to a formal audit. Anything less is just leaving it to chance.
Which brings up a really important question for you to think about this week.
Go on.
How much objectivity are we sacrificing in our own professional lives by substituting those formal, structured checks with quick, convenient, informal conversations?
A great point. Are we choosing what's easy over what's effective? Well, if you want to dive deeper into these structured project processes and learn how to implement effective risk audits, we highly recommend checking out the source of this deep dive, Project Management for Project Managers by Orlando Casabone.